Sometimes I see people asking when they're starting in myopia, can I just use an old pair of glasses? Hi, I'm Gemily, an End Myopia student. I'm using Jake Steiner's End Myopia method to get back to 20/20 vision and life without glasses. It's all based on science, not magic, and if you would like to know more, I'll pop some links in the description down below. So I've seen a lot of people in comments of my YouTube videos, but also on the Facebook and myopia group asking, can they just use their old glasses? Because when we do end myopia, part of this process is to get a lower correction. In fact, it's to get two lower corrections. One lower correction for doing our close-up work so that we're not overcorrected when we're reading, working on a computer or looking at our phones. And then a few weeks later, another undercorrected pair of glasses, which are only undercorrected by a little bit, so that we can go about our daily life with just a little bit of a blur challenge. So if we've kept our old pairs of glasses, we probably already have some glasses stashed away that are weaker than what we currently need. So if you're asking the question, can I just use my old glasses for my close-up work, they're differential glasses, or for my normal daily life as normalized glasses, the answer is maybe. Probably not, but maybe. So there are a couple of things you'll need to look at to work it out. The most important thing that you want to find out straight away is whether the correction of your old glasses and the correction of your current glasses is balanced. This is often referred to as ratios, although it has been pointed out by some clever people in the End Myopia forum that mathematically these do not actually equal ratios, but what else are we going to call them? Nah. So I'm just going to go with the flow and stick with the word ratios, even if it is not mathematically correct to use this term. So when you're looking at ratios, you're going to want to look at the correction of your current glasses compared to the correction of your former pairs of glasses. And you want to make sure that the spherical correction and the cylinder correction all balance up nicely. So if, for example, your current pair of glasses are equal for spherical correction, for myopia correction in each eye, so you have say -3 and -3, you want to make sure that in your older pairs of glasses, they're also equal. If you have -2 and -1.75, your former pair of glasses in this situation would have a difference of 0.25 diopters. That's not an equal difference to your current pair of glasses, which have a difference between each eye of 0. So you can already rule out those glasses. If, on the other hand, your current glasses have a diopter difference between each eye of 0.25, like how I started, for example, with -3 in one eye and -2.5 in another. Perhaps if you have a pair of glasses that only have a 0.25 difference between the eyes, they might come in handy, but not yet. They might come in handy down the road when you get to an equalizing step. But again, that's really specific because before you start doing anything else, you want to make 2 binocular spherical drops. So just a tiny step in both eyes that are the same. So I'll take my case again. If I have -3 and -2.5, I need to go from 3 and 2.5 to 2.75 and 2.25 to 2.5 and 2 before I start equalizing. So if I have a pair of glasses with only 0.25 spherical diopters of difference, then if they're up in those numbers where I'm meant to be doing binocular drops, they're not going to come in handy. They're going to have to be lower and at the right moment for when I want to start equalizing. So it's possible if my old pair of glasses was actually a 2 and a 2.5, maybe that would be really useful. Maybe. Because that's not all we have to think about. The other thing that needs to be looked at, besides the balance between the spherical correction between the eyes, is also the balance between the cylinder correction. So using myself as an example again, I started this with a correction that had a measly 0.25 of cylinder. Cylinder being astigmatism correction. My previous pair of glasses had 0.5 correction for cylinder, which is 0.25 diopters more. So even if the spherical looked like it was going to be right, there is no way that I want to be going up in cylinder. Nope. So those glasses, gone, useless. I had considered when I first began end myopia, slotting them into my reduction schedule, But the more I read, the more I realized this isn't a good idea. Just get new glasses that actually are appropriate. Get the actual correction that your eyes are actually going to want. You can get glasses really cheaply now. I mean, I know not everyone can afford lots of pairs of glasses, but really, you can get them really, really cheap. If you're spending money on coffee, if you're spending money on eating out, if you're spending money on Netflix, like, you can afford new glasses. You really can. So make sure that the cylinder correction isn't going up. Make sure that it, like the spherical correction, is balanced. You don't want it to go from your current correction of whatever it is to a former correction where they're different from your current correction. You know what I mean. So if the reduction in spherical is balanced compared to your current correction and the reduction in cylinder is balanced according to your current correction, then we look at amounts of correction. Because it's not just the balance that we need to think about. It is how much correction we want to be using. To use an old pair of glasses as your differentials, your first pair of N-myopia glasses, you want to make sure that the spherical is balanced to your current correction, your cylinder is balanced to your current correction, and the reduction is appropriate. So the first step in changing our correction for myopia is to start with glasses specifically for our close-up work, which are called differentials. These can be anything from 1.25 diopters lower from our normal correction to 2 diopters lower from our normal correction. It all depends on how far away from the screen we tend to be, what kind of work we are doing when we're close up, and like how much blur we want. Like, there's a few things to consider. And ideally, the cylinder wouldn't be reducing in your first pair of differentials, although you can reduce up to 1 diopter of cylinder for differentials. So maybe if it's less than that, you could give it a try if that's the only thing that would be stopping them from being the differentials that you would have purchased anyway. Yep. I think using an old pair of glasses as your normalized might be even harder, because I don't know of a time when I've been to the optometrist and they've just upped things by 0.25. Normally the jumps that I've experienced are bigger than that. Although having said this, your first pair of normalized sometimes is a bit more of a drop than just the standard 0.25 that we normally step down in our normalized glasses. Because by wearing appropriate correction for close-up instead of our traditional overcorrection, our ciliary muscle, which has been in spasm, can finally release, and so we can get quite a significant gain in our vision within the first few months. In which case, when you choose a normalized pair of glasses, you might choose to move down by 0.5 or even 0.75. So there's quite a range, really, considering that your differentials can be anywhere from 1.25 diopters weaker up to 2 diopters weaker from your current correction, and your normalized can be anywhere from 0.25 diopters weaker to 0.75, or maybe in some situations even a whole diopter weaker. So how much the spherical drops by in your pair of glasses, it's possible that anywhere up to 2 diopters weaker, you'll find a way to make it work. Except you have to make sure it's balanced. Otherwise, you're just going to confuse your visual cortex. You know what? I think that's probably enough of me for today. I hope this is helpful to someone. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out, and it lets YouTube know that these videos are worth watching. And do remember to hit the little bell button to be notified whenever I post, which is every Thursday. So I'll see you next week. Bye! I don't think so. It depends on a lot of things. Okay, so it depends on probably 2 things. Is the ratios? No, well, the ratios, yes. You're also wanting to going to want ratios. It's hard, huh? Oh dear. A smaller amount of, oh blah. Oh, this is complicated to put into words. So I'm just gonna go with the flow and stick with the word. The spherical is balanced. Oh dear. When I say original, I mean the correction I had when I started N-myopia. My original correction was 0 when I was born, obviously. That's unnecessary to say. Cool. And your normalized can be anywhere from 0.25 diopters weaker to 7.5. No, that's too much. Maybe there's a glass of water with a table on it. No. This is not going well. I think I'm going to save this analogy for another day about blur adaptation. Okay, we'll do that.